The argument that NPCs in the Division are bullet sponges is a tricky one to respond to. It's tricky in the sense that a lot of players approach the Division as a shooter and ignored the heavy RPG aspects of the game. With the approach of the Division 2's public beta and subsequently its full release, I'll be happy to explain why the enemies aren't exactly bullet sponges and how you can develop a playstyle to deal better damage to those NPCs. As a side note, veteran Division players already know everything I'm about to say, so if you're a veteran, you may have to jump to the comment section to help answer questions immediately after watching this video. Thank you very much, agents. Before we go any further, we have to look at the fact that there are different NPC enemy types in the Division game, and one major difference between them is their health pool, and in some cases, their armor fortification. Also, you have to note that the enemy health does vary based on not only the enemy type, but also the level of the enemy. Since there are different enemies in the game, it also follows that players approach each enemy type with a specific set of parameters in order to successfully take them down. To get us to speed, here are the following enemy types that are in the Division game. We have the regular enemies, which are indicated by a red health bar. We have the veteran enemies, which are indicated by a purple health bar and in most cases, an armor bar. And we also have the elite enemy types, which are indicated by the yellow bar and sometimes a yellow armor bar. Now naturally, as these enemies types scale from regular to elite, so does their health pool and armor as well. So it is imperative that you are spec'd specifically to take them down as effectively as possible. Now that we've had the different enemy types, let's look at exactly how to apply more bullet damage. You see, in the Division game, whether it be the Division 1 or the Division 2, the primary way to apply damage to enemies is using bullets. Now, there are many other ways to apply damage, but this video is addressing the bullet sponge problem. Hence, we will simply be looking at your damage dealt per bullet fired from your weapon. For every weapon, the base damage per bullet varies. This is the same case that we have in both Division 1 and in Division 2. Now, the way the categories actually range differ based on the different weapons. Example, marksman rifles naturally have a higher base damage than an assault rifle, and an assault rifle will have a higher base damage than an SMG. And as it follows, an SMG will have a higher per bullet damage than, say, a handgun. But you get the point. As the weapons scale differently, so do their bullet damage also scale. So let's look at a plausible situation which a new player plays a mission and gets rewarded a brand new covert SRS. This is a bolt action marksman rifle, and by design, it is one of the hardest hitting marksman rifles in the game. The first thing a lot of folks who are new to the Division or who are just playing the Division 2 game, after abandoning the Division 1, they do this and they look only at the attributes. Now in the Division 2, we know we have more data available on inspection, and we're able to see things like the optimal range, which is something that we did not necessarily see in the stats in the first game. But let's place all that aside for now. Now, this marksman rifle that we have on screen hits for about 45,800 as its base damage. If I were to encounter an elite NPC who maybe had a 1 million HP for his total health pool, I would have to fire 1 million divided by 45,800 damage, which would give me about 21.834 bullets to take this guy down. And this calculation is only for body shots. Now, if you want to mitigate all that work, you need to aim for headshots and leverage this stat over here, which is the 91% headshot damage, which also comes with this rifle. Say you decide to land headshots on this NPC, you only have to fire 1 million divided by the base damage, which is 45,800 plus 91% of the base damage. And this will put you at about 11.430 bullets. Now, 11 bullets to the head seems quite a lot, but we're only working from the perspective of the base headshot damage of the marksman rifle without calculating additional bonuses which can be granted to you based on your gear and your weapon talent. My goal is showing you that just a simple change in your playstyle can pretty much reduce your workload or your bullet count by 50%. I've also created another scenario where this can actually work and gives you real-time statistics from the Division 1 just to show you how your damage can be improved incrementally using your gear and weapon mods. Now, even though this example is from the Division 1, I believe it's still very relevant for our case study. So let's take this other covert SRS in the Division 1 with a base damage of 118,000, and let's say we're facing the same NPC who has 1 million HP. Now, we're going to need a total of about 1 million divided by 118,000, and we're going to be firing in an average of about 8.475 bullets if we only applied plain body shots to this NPC. When we land headshots, we're going to leverage the 141% headshot damage, which has been granted to us for free. When we do that, our calculation will now take into account all of this in the new equation, 1 million divided by the base damage plus 141% of the base damage. This would then bring us to a total division of 1 million divided by 284,491, which would bring us to about 3.5 bullets. So already this bullet sponge that was going to take about 8 bullets just from body shots from a marksman rifle now needs less than half of that in order to completely melt them, just by changing your style of play. Now, let's add a scope, which will give us 5% headshot damage, and a pair of gloves, which will grant us an additional 12% marksman rifle damage. Immediately, my calculations change, and my base damage of 118,000 is now 132,000 when I add the 12% marksman rifle damage, while my headshot damage bonus is no longer 141%, but now 146%. This will bring our calculation to 1 million divided by 132,000 plus 146% of 132,000. So this is going to be giving me a damage of about 324,720 HP per headshot, and I'm only going to need about 3 bullets base. Now, this rifle is based on the highest gear score level in the Division 1, and as we know from the Division 2, it's been confirmed that we're going to be getting world tiers and also consequently have weapons with higher gear score and improved damage numbers than this covert SRS that I've shown you from the Division 2 screenshot. As we go through world tiers, enemy health pools will also scale up and our weapons are going to get better. For those of you who paid attention to the screenshot of this marksman rifle, I hope you saw the scope. This scope that's actually coming with it provides an extra 30% extra headshot damage to the weapon, which has now not only made me more powerful, but has now greatly reduced my TTK, which is what we call time to kill the NPC. Now, this is just in the marksman rifle playstyle, and this video in no way represents the scope and the depth of the shooting and potential damage dealing mechanics available in the Division 2's RPG systems. In fact, the more you start to look at the other weapons and their bonuses and the mods and your gear, you start to see that there's a theme. There are ways for you to be able to stack up different attributes and deal more damage to the NPCs. So if you take a basic set and combination of gear sets, which are just a basic chest piece, a pair of knee pads, a pair of gloves, a backpack, a mask, and a holster, which don't have any attributes to help your damage, you're going to be firing marshmallows at the NPC. If you wish to see this mechanic at work in an upcoming AAA title, look no further than the gameplay demo of Cyberpunk 2077. In this demo, there's a specific scene where we see a tanky enemy NPC who required a lot of shooting to take down.
Let's scan this guy and see what's going on. It looks like Royce is back, and he's prepped. He's got an armored exoskeleton. We won't be able to get rid of him that easily. Our weapons are not dealing a lot of damage because he's packing an autonomous shield. Luckily, the scan we performed earlier revealed a weak spot. Attacking should bring the shield down. Shield's down. Let's finish him off.
Boy, it ain't going your way, you cunts.
Okay, let's put him down and get this job over.
Now granted, I do not know the mechanics of Cyberpunk 2077, but from what we saw, we definitely know that RPG systems do not usually stray too far from each other. Now, I must also caveat that Cyberpunk 2077 seems like a far more ambitious title than The Division 2, but the same kind of thinking applies. The Division 2 is an RPG game, so whether you're hacking and slashing away in some other RPG game, or you're spraying and praying with your LMG, there's a simple solution for your bullet sponge dilemma. That solution is learning how to configure your gear and your playstyle, which will net you a lot of gains, reduce your frustration, and you'll be able to adopt a new RPG shooter and feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. Wait, what? I'm just joking. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Leave comments in the comment section. This is a very basic tutorial. This is not in any way what you can do in regard to depth and scope of the Division, but it kind of shows you that if you're coming to the Division 2 with the approach of everybody is a bullet sponge, you're not going to learn how to build. So you have to open your mind, be willing to do some mathematical permutations, or just watch somebody actually do it and go get the items to be able to stack up all the damage that you need and be able to take down the NPCs without any much issues. Thank you very much for your time and audience. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave comments like I said, and I guess I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.